Hello and welcome to another Fox vlog. It is a week, almost, sort of, until the Kickstarter launches. I have so much work left to do. I still have things to tidy up in the rewards and the tier structures and more mock-ups for the case design and the whole, dust jacket. That's the word. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So many things. And of course, promoting it and sharing it and talking about it everywhere. So, it's a lot. But it's looking good. And it's picked up 70 something followers by now, which is amazing. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty confident that it's going to go well, hopefully. And yeah, the biggest, scariest thing now is that I have done half of the illustrations, which in some ways is deliberate because, if it doesn't go ahead, well then no, I won't be probably having to rush through and get all the rest of the illustrations done, at least until I decide to reschedule the project. But it probably will go ahead, given the following it has, and illustrations are still scary. I can definitely do them, I know that, but writing is like you put words down and you can always go back and change them, and painting is you put paint down and no, you can't go back and change that. That's how watercolor works. So scary, but I can do them and I will do them because it's good for me. So in case anyone has ever wondered how much work actually goes on behind the scenes in a Kickstarter, lots obviously, but I have a list of 22 items I must fix or change or do things for before launch date. That's not even counting getting the rest of the artwork finished. That doesn't have to be done by launch. That just has to be done by fulfillment. Yeah. Some of it's easy stuff, like, there's a couple of typos I need to fix. Some of it is more like figuring out the maths behind the shipping and all that sort of challenge because I'm in Australia and readers are all over the world. So, lots of challenges there. And then some of them are much more complicated things like finish the mock-up for the case design, that's a big job, but we will get there by my time, 10 p.m. Monday. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll be working all day and night. Books. I am halfway through revisions of The Lies We Whisper, which is book 2 in the Whisperers series, and that's coming along quite well. It's amazing how much when I go back, I'm like, yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. I did not establish that at all. Just total non sequiturs in conversations, things where I have like one sentence that supposedly refers to something. I don't know what it is, so don't worry about that. I am happy though. The book is coming along pretty well. I think it's shaping up to be a nice, angsty kind of political drama where Ursa is running for a seat on the council and Dell is running from his previous employer still. So that has a lot going on. I'm also working through final edits of The Illusion of Fear, which is the prequel novella to the whole series, and that is going to get released at the end of July, very early August. Soon, very soon, to everywhere. So it will be a book that you can either pick up on an e-retailer very inexpensively if you wish, or you can join my newsletter and get it for free. So I will be sure to announce when that happens. The Illusion of Fear is a fun little story. It's a novella. It was meant to be a short story. A short story, for reference, is like 5,000 words or a few pages really, and it's turned into a novella which for scale is 6 times longer than it was meant to be. That's fine. It's an art crime story. So Dell's arrival in this new city, running away from the spy organization he has defected from, and stumbling into an art crime, which he, of course, immediately gets implicated in. So I'm gonna meets a handsome stranger and maybe sort of, falls in love a little bit along the way. I am so scattered today. I'm not even sure what I'm meant to be doing. I started at the beginning of June. I started doing, very late to it, a 90-day planning, which is sort of like working around the quarters of the year. And obviously June is the last month in the second quarter, so I didn't quite get into that whole thing, but it was good just to test it for a month. And actually I got a huge amount of work done. It's almost counterintuitive that I resisted doing the planning, and I've tried to do this so many times before, but I really struggle with committing to it. So I get the broad strokes of, yes, here's the goals, here's what I want to do down. And then as soon as I start trying to put in all the details of, okay, on each day, what am I going to focus on? And as soon as I get into the detail of what do I actually need to do each day, that starts feeling overwhelming and hard to commit to. And how am I even going to know? And so I walk away from the plans, and then I just end up with these vague goals, which is what I had before. And now I've written them down on a spreadsheet, and that makes no difference. So I stuck to, all right, I'm going to put in every day. I have two parts to my day. I have an afternoon that is for work stuff, and then I have an evening session which is for writing. The writing session has to be sort of sacred, and sometimes it isn't. Kickstarter is going to just blow all that out of the water, but mostly it's sacred. So I have a focus for the writing, and then I have a focus for anything else in the work session, which is all the marketing, the admin, the editing, the production, all that sort of stuff. The first thing I just realized is that actually this doesn't have to be a set in stone thing. I just have to allocate stuff, and if it doesn't, I go back then and make a note each day of what I actually did do and see if it was accurate. And so hopefully I'll get better at planning it and knowing exactly what I can do each day. It was amazing how much I actually got done when I planned it all out like that. I wrote a whole new story in a very short space of time because I had time for it and was committed to it and was not hopping all over projects, because I have a lot of projects. I have a lot of series on the go, a lot of books on the go, a lot of other things going on, plus other work to juggle. I tend to just sort of jump all over the place and often not finish anything. Part of that is too my kind of want to hold on to stuff. Because I know I can always make it better. Like with every pass of a story, I can make it better. So at what point do you go, you know what, you've reached that threshold of maximum returns. From now on, you're just going to be spending more and more time for very tiny increments of improvement, and it's not worth it. It's a great story, let it go. That's hard to do. But if I have a deadline and I've put it in and it's like, this is the publication date, like for Illusion of Fear, the publication date is 31st of July. That's when it has to be on Amazon and everywhere else. That will make me go, yep, let's get it as good as I can at that point. And obviously you can keep reiterating. I think the saying is, a piece of art is never finished, only abandoned. And that's what it is about, letting the art babies go. I've kind of gone off track with that, which is how I feel about the day, but the planning is good. So my plan for the next 90 days, well, 16 of which are already gone, is mostly Kickstarter. It's just Kickstarter, secrets art, and in the meantime a few other little bits like getting Illusion of Fear published and another story that I want to sort of finish editing, and revising Lies, because if I get that revised now, that's going to set things up for publishing that next year. The following 90 days, I have a very vague idea of what I'm going to... That was weird. I have a very vague idea of what I'm going to be doing, which is resurrecting the podcast, I think. It's hard to do now that I live next door to a school where there's constant racket, but I really do want to keep doing it. I want to keep reading the Lightless Prophecy series at some point. I definitely want to read the Whisperers series. So I think the final part of the year is going to be, to some extent, focusing on getting that running again. Probably even putting it here. That's exciting. I think that's all I have. I should now go and tackle my 20-something plus list of things I've got to do to wrangle the Kickstarter into shape before it launches on Monday. If you're interested in romantic gaslamp fantasy with art crime and mystery and missing fathers and lots of magical flowers and sort of whimsical setting with angsty romance, do follow the campaign, and I will endeavour to update more often. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and thank you for watching.